In this video, we're going to discuss how to create, organize, manage, and ultimately crush your project backlog. The project backlog is a critical component to the success of any kind of project. You'll see these in many different formats throughout many different fields, and it is fundamentally related to the discipline of project management. Now, I can't teach you all about project management in just a short video, so this video is intended to give you some high-level understanding with the expectation that you'll seek out additional information if it interests you. The first thing you should have is a pretty strong idea of what your game is and what it will consist of. In order to accomplish that, you need to have a game design document. If you don't know what that is, please go watch this video because I think it'll be pivotal to what I'm about to go over. It does not have to be 100% complete, but you should have a rough outline at the very least so you can start generating your backlog. So what is a backlog anyways? In short, a backlog is a list of well-defined goals or objectives that you need to accomplish. In the context of game development, these might be major or minor features that you intend to include in your game. So if you already have a game design document, you should already have a clear idea of what those will be. To create the backlog, just take one feature at a time and write out what they are, what they consist of, what you'll need to be able to include them, and any other details such as what they're related to or how they'll be used. Don't worry about the order in which you write them down. That'll come in next. My recommendation is to start with the major features first. In other words, these are features that are fundamental to your game and make up the minimally viable product for your game. Then list out the minor features that you want to include as well. I call this spit and polish. In the gaming industry, you might call it juice. These are features that make the game a little bit more exciting or visually pleasing. Think screen shake or danger music, for example. If you're having trouble figuring out what category a feature belongs to, ask yourself whether the game you want to make could really be played without it, even if it meant it wasn't quite as fun or exciting. If the answer is yes, then it's probably a minor feature. Now it's time to prioritize your backlog. When developing anything, there are going to be some things that must come first, usually due to dependencies. For example, I can't really include a crafting system unless I have resources to include it first, since, how would I be able to test whether or not the crafting system was even working? One trick to making this easier for yourself is to utilize user stories. Literally write out a brief description of the experience that you're going for from the perspective of the player in fine detail. Take a recent video I made, for example, about the action plate behavior. Now, if you haven't seen that, pause right here and just go check that out so you'll be on the same page with me. The user story might go something like this. I enter a small tomb and I see a huge pile of treasure at the end. Then I notice a series of pressure plates on the floor and I suspect a trap. I step cautiously on one of the pressure plates and fire pours out of the floor grates, blocking my path. I step on the panel again and the fire stops. I then test each plate and discover that one of them does not cause the fire to come out. So I proceed through the room, testing each plate until I'm able to find a safe path to the treasure. In that video, I set up a small scene, and that was my project, to produce the video. That was a major feature to the project since I couldn't really demonstrate the behavior as effectively without it. I added some lighting, which was necessary to be able to see what I was doing in the video. I added the traps, which I included a particle effect for the fire and a flame light to help sell the sense of danger. But I did not add a trigger zone with the hurt behavior attached. Why not? Well, in my case, for my project, as it were, it wasn't really part of the minimally viable product necessary to produce the video. Now, obviously, if it were intended for a real game, then it would be a very necessary feature. And in fact, its priority would go above the lighting effects since it would help sell the sense of danger even better than just lighting alone. The treasure at the back of the room, again, for the sake of the video, is clearly spit and polish or a minor feature. I could have easily made that video without it and it would not have detracted from the information being provided. Review that video and other videos that I've made in the past and try to pick out the list of major and minor features that you see in the video. Don't worry about whether or not you're right or wrong. It's not really important. The point of this is to practice thinking in these terms. All right, we've covered a lot of ground so far, but I think there's just one more thing you need to understand in order for me to deliver on my promise at the beginning of the video, and that is how to manage and ultimately crush your project backlog. For that, we're going to need a project plan consisting of sprints. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term sprint, suffice it to say that it's a defined period of time in which you intend to get certain amounts of work completed. This is another thing I'm taking from project management as a whole, and it's part of what's called the agile methodology, if you want to look those things up. Now take your completed prioritized backlog and break it down into small segments of time. This can be a week, a month, a quarter, whatever you feel is realistic to your available schedule and meets your expectations for when you want the project to be completed. Let's say it's the end of the year, for example. Fine. Now, let's break that down into 12 sprints of 1 month each. Since your backlog is already prioritized, you should be able to divide that up into 12 pieces, making sure that the amount of work in each month is not too small and not too big to accomplish in that period of time. If you need to, take a large backlog item and break it down into smaller pieces and split it up between 2 or more months. Keep refining this until you have a well-defined schedule that you feel strongly is within your ability to accomplish. This will keep you on task and focused. If you're an independent developer, I recommend handing this project plan to somebody that you trust and asking them to keep you accountable. Meet with them once a month and provide a progress report. Talk to them about what went well, what could have gone better, and work with them to reorganize the sprint plan as needed. Nothing wrong with reorganizing as you go. That's what agile methodology is all about, actually. So hopefully the information in this video will help some of you stay organized and on task and produce the game that you've been dreaming of. If you've enjoyed the video or if you've learned anything new, please be sure to click the like button down below. If you're new to this channel or just haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you stick around for more content just like this. And lastly, if you'd like to receive a notification for whenever new videos are available, just click the bell icon and that'll notify you when new videos are posted. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I always appreciate it, and bye for now.